Evening, everyone. I'm just hoping that seems a little bit dark over here, so I'm turning the light on. Hope that helps. Okay, so we're going to begin in child's pose today. So if you're already prepared, you can come into child's pose. Make sure that you have any of your equipment or your tools, your props handy, lock. You have a strap or even a tie. You can use a tie as a strap. So child's pose is our resting pose, and we're going to start there today. So you want to come to the middle of the mat and then just bring your big toes together and open your knees a little wide, and then draw your tailbone down towards your heels and reach and extend your arms forward and let your forehead come down to the floor. So you don't want to bring your forehead to the floor if your butt is going to be sticking up in the air, so you don't want to be like this. So that's why the block may come in handy. And so you want to let your forehead rest on something. So either the block or the mat. You don't want your head to be just kind of hanging out loose in space. So draw the tailbone down and just let yourself just kind of rock from side to side, just opening up through your lower back. Just take some nice slow movements here. And just notice if you feel a little tightness or stiffness in your lower back. And just moving around, and then eventually just find stillness. Come to hold your pose and relax here. So let your arms just relax, let your shoulders relax, and let the tailbone press down towards the heels. And so allowing yourself now to find your Ujjayi breath, letting that breath flow in and out through the back of your throat. And with each exhale, really feel a letting go, maybe even allow that exhale to sigh out. So you can take a deep breath in through your nose, open your mouth and sigh it out. And maybe do that a couple more times and see if it relaxes you a little bit more. And then from here, keeping your arms extended forward, raise your forehead off the mat or your block and walk your hands all the way over to the right side and draw the left buttock towards that left heel. So you really want to push that buttock towards the heel to stretch into the left side of your body. And try to keep your arms alongside your ears. And trying not to hunch the ears into the shoulders. Just make sure that you're breathing here, pressing through that left buttock into the heel to stretch into the left side of your back and the left side of your body. Walking the hands forward, take it all the way over to the other side. So as you move over to the left, you want to feel that you're pushing your right buttock to the heel and try to keep the arms right alongside your ears. And just reach that right buttock towards the heel and stretch into the right side of your body. And then slowly coming back to center. And palms are flat, fingers are spread wide, so your hands are right towards the front of your mat. Come onto your hands and knees and bring your knees back onto your hips. And right from here, let's lift up into down dog. So curl the toes and lifting up, drop your head. And just start to slowly bicycle the feet. So you want to pedal it out, feel the stretch coming into the soles of your feet, into the calves, into the shins perhaps. And as you're pedaling, allow yourself to just stop when your left heel pushes down. So let the right knee still stay slightly bent and press through that left heel, deepening into the left ankle, the left calf. And then let the right heel press down and slight bend in the left leg, pressing your right heel to the mat. Make sure the crown of your head is coming close to the floor. So you don't want to be looking forward. You don't want to be holding your head up. And then allowing both heels to press down. And as you're pressing both heels, lift all 10 toes off the mat. And notice if you feel a little bit more deeper stretch coming into the calf muscles. And from here, let's rock onto the balls of the feet and slowly come back onto the knees. And let your toes come flat and slide your hands so that they come right underneath your shoulders. Spread your fingers wide. We're going to come into some cat and cow to open up the back. So we're going to start with cat pose. So we're going to round the spine, draw the navel into the back, chin into the chest. And curling your toes, let your tailbone lift, let your head come up. And then flatten your toes again and round into your cat. And then come into your cow. And do this a few more times on your own. Just flow with your breath. Just letting the spine start to open, the chest opens, the lower back stretches out. And then finishing up, coming back into your cat once again. So flatten the toes, round through the spine, chin into the chest. And then come into a neutral spine. So you want to allow the shoulders to come right over your wrists. Knees are directly underneath your hips. Let's take the left leg and extend the left leg all the way back. We're going to round the back as we bring the knee in towards the nose, and then lift that leg up, arch your back, look up, and then again pulling the knee in, round the back, and lift again. And then from here, we're going to hold it for 3 counts. 3, 2, 1, and then send that knee back down underneath your hip. And the right leg is going to extend back, and you're going to round the back, bringing the knee in towards your nose, and send it all the way back and up. And again, pulling the knee in, and lift, and bringing it in. We're going to hold it here for 3 counts. 3, 2, 1. And bring that knee back down underneath your hip. Take the left leg and extend the left leg out to the side with a bent knee. As your leg is bent, as your leg stays bent, you're going to kick it, the foot out toward the leg out, and bring the foot down to the floor. So make sure that your palms are underneath your shoulders, and you're going to come up and stand on your right knee, bringing both arms all the way up. So the toes of your left foot are angled more to, if you're facing the front of your mat, they'd be facing the front side of your mat. Lifting up, bring both arms out to the side, and then we're going to take the left hand down and reach and stretch your right hand all the way up towards the ceiling. So keep reaching and drawing your right shoulder down away from the ear. Take a nice side bend if you can. If you feel a lot of space, that you have some range of motion, you can side bend over and look to your inner elbow. And try not to grab your left leg, just let the left hand rest there. And come back up with your left arm. You're going to bring both hands back down, and you're going to bend that leg again and lift the leg up, and then place it back down underneath your left hip. The right side now, the right knee is going to lift. You're going to extend the foot out, the leg out, and bring the foot down so that the toes are facing towards the front of your mat. Standing on your left knee, lifting up, inhale, and exhale, arms out, and right hand comes down, lowering to the right leg. Reach and extend up with the left hand and breathe. So maybe noticing more space or a little less space on this side. And if you're able to, go into your side bend, taking it a little deeper if that space is available to you. So sometimes we feel tight on one side and more open on the other. So just observe where you are. And then bringing the right arm all the way up, inhale. Exhale, both hands come down underneath your shoulders. Raise that right leg up, bend the knee, and place that knee back down underneath your hip. And then take your hand slightly further forward, lifting back into down dog. Curl the toes, raise your knees, and drop your head. And from here, let's take a wide stance with the feet. So you want to open your feet up just as wide as the width of your mat, and push your chest in towards the side. Really push the mat away with your hands. Draw the crown of your head closer towards the floor, and push down through your heels. Feel the stretch coming into the calf. From here, walk your hands to your feet, and we're going to squat it down. So once your feet are flat, you're going to squat down. You can angle the toes outward for better ability to come down, or if you're able to keep the toes facing forward, you can keep them forward. Now your heels are staying on the mat. Here would be a good time to use your block if you need to. And this way you can sit on whatever angle of your block in order to get yourself down into your squat here. So try to open up now into those inner thighs. Use your elbows to push through the insides of your knees, and bring your hands in prayer. Just feel opening coming into the groin area, and breathe. So you should be flat on your feet. Your heels are not lifted in this pose, Malasana. And then bring your right hand down towards the floor, and take your left arm and reach and extend that left arm up. And looking up towards the ceiling, return that left hand down and place it onto the mat and take the right arm up. And looking up towards the ceiling, keep stretching and reaching. And bring that right hand down, taking it back to our wide down dog. So start to lift your hips, walk it forward, and you want to come into that down dog position with the weight going back and up. Dropping the crown of your head towards the mat. And then from here, just take your feet in a little bit closer and raise your right leg all the way up to the ceiling. From here, we're going to do the same thing when we rounded the back and brought the knee in. So you're going to round your back, pull your knee in towards your nose, and then send that leg up. So your body stays still in your down dog. It's just that you're rounding the back. And lift. And pull it in. And this time, lift the leg all the way up. And draw that right heel towards your left buttock. And let that right knee turn and open towards the ceiling. So you want to rotate open your right hip. And let your head just freely hang. Feel that left heel pushing towards the mat. Straighten that right leg. Flex the foot. And point the toes. And flex. And point. Flex. And point. And circle the foot around one direction. And take it around going the opposite way. And bring your right leg back down. Next to your left. Back into your down dog. Make sure that you're staying with your Ujjayi breath. Raising the left leg all the way up. Rounding the back, you want to bring the knee in. So stay in the down dog, you're just rounding through your back. Lift that leg up. And once again, bring that knee in. And lift. And take it in again. And lift that leg up. Bend the leg at the knee. You want to open up through the hip. Make sure that both shoulders stay square. Push through your right heel. Left heel is coming towards your right buttock. And then take that leg and stretch it up with a flex foot. Really press through the heel. And then point the toe and flex. Point and flex. Point and flex. And make a circle one direction. And reverse the circle. Go the opposite way. And bring that left foot back down to the mat. And let's lower back down into tabletop position. Let's take a child's pose here. Big toes touch. Open your knees, draw your tailbone down, forehead to the mat. And just breathe where you are. Remember, if you need your block, you can use your block to let your forehead rest on the block. Let those hips really press towards the heels. So let's come back up onto all fours. So keep the hands extended as far forward as you can get them. Spreading the fingers wide. Come back onto your knees and keep your hands right where they are. As the knees come under your hips, curl your toes. Lifting back for down dog. And from here, let's take our right leg, lift it all the way up. We're going to lunge that right foot in between the hands. So you want to get your foot right in between both hands. If it doesn't come in between with one movement, you can use your right hand to kind of guide it in, making sure your right knee is over the ankle. We're going to lift up the left leg, allowing the toes of the left foot to point down towards the floor. This would be where your block would come in handy if you're not able to straighten your right leg with keeping your hands on the floor. So you want to lift the left foot. You want to start to straighten that right leg. Pull that right hip up and square the hips so that the left hip is facing down. Now, if you can't straighten your leg, then you're going to be using the block. But try not to push pressure into the block. You want to feel that you're pulling that right hip up and just resting your hands onto the block. And draw the forehead down so that the nose is coming towards your right knee. And feel that right hip really extending, lifting up to get that deep stretch into that right hamstring. And then taking it back into a lunge, so that left foot is going to go back. And once we're in that lunge position, we're going to let the left knee lower, making sure your right knee stays over the ankle. And then taking it back with your arms, sweeping up into crescent pose. So lift your chest and sweep the arms up, reaching up. And if you're able to, see if you can get your hands together, maybe interlace the fingers, people fingers, and send those hips forward, pelvis tucks under, and lift up. So if you're not able to take the hands together, you can keep them separated. You want to feel your shoulders are pulling down away from the ears, and the shoulder blades are drawing towards each other. Nice deep breath. And release, take your arms out to the side. We're going to take a twist, turning to the right. Bring your left arm forward, take your right arm behind you. Gaze down the fingers of your left hand and spread your fingers wide. Relax the shoulders. Keep sending that pelvis down, tucking your hips under. And then take your right hand towards the left. Bring both arms all the way up. Inhale. Exhale, both hands come on either side of your right foot. The left toes curl and the right leg goes back for a down dog. And let's hold here. Deep inhale. And exhale. And continue to press through your heels. So now we're going to send the left leg up, lifting that left leg all the way up, lunging that left foot in between the hands. So if it doesn't get there, place it down, grab the ankle, wiggle it in, guide it in, letting that left knee come over the ankle. And from here, we're going to keep the toes of the right foot facing towards the mat as we lift that right leg up and letting ourselves come into that split. So you're going to let that right foot lift that left hip towards the ceiling as you straighten your left leg. Use the assistance of your block if you need to. So you don't want to have your hands on the floor and your leg bent. So that's why you want to find something that you can use to be able to straighten that left leg and keep length through your back. So you don't want to hunch your back. You don't want to round the back or bend the leg. You want to keep squeezing the inner thighs together, drawing the crown of your head down towards the mat, and breathe here. So feeling that deep stretch into the left hamstring. Lengthen, inhale, and you're going to step the right leg back for a lunge. So bend your left leg, let your right leg come back, and then let the right knee lower. So flatten the toes on your right foot. Left knee stays over the ankle. Sweep your arms back. Squeeze your shoulder blades, lift your chest, raise the arms up. An option to bring the hands together if you want. Otherwise, just extend them. Feel that you're really creating space. Sometimes when we close the arms too far together, we cave in through the chest. So we don't want that. We want to really let the chest open as if your chest is really breathing. The whole rib cage is breathing here. And then from here, we're going to open up into a twist. So take your arms out to the side and right arm goes forward, left arm behind. Soften the shoulders down. Gaze down the fingers of your right hand and breathe. And then take the left hand towards the right, both arms lift. Inhale, exhale down, curl your back toes, left leg goes back, down dog. And breathe here. So we're going to work from here, coming to plank, working into our knees, chest and chin coming down. So part of our sun salutation. Tailbone is going to stay tilted. You're going to shift the chest towards the mat in between your thumbs and your elbows are sticking up. Your hips and your belly are not touching the floor. Now you're going to let your belly flatten onto the mat as the chest slides forward, legs go back. Push into your toenails. Use your back to lift your chest, not your hands. And then let's press it back up into down dog. So we're going to continue to open our hips a little. So let's take our right leg up. Right foot is going to come to the outside of your right hand. So right to the pinky side of your hand. Again, if you can't get the foot there, you can help it along however you can get it there. So have the edge of your right foot onto the mat, the side edge of the mat. And then send that left leg as far back as you can maintain that stretch and place the left knee down to the floor and flatten the toes on your left foot. So hug your elbows in towards your body and just bend your elbows like you're doing a push-up and come back up. And bend. You're going to feel that opening coming into that right inner thigh. And just keep doing this a little bit. So you want to inhale and then exhale as you come down. And then once you bend the elbows, just hold here. Pull the navel into the back of the spine and just notice that inner thigh getting that deep stretch. And slowly lift up. We're going to continue to stretch that right hip, so take your right hand to the outside of your pinky toe. Wiggle the right foot so that it comes right behind your left wrist. Now, if you're not that flexible here to come into pigeon pose, you can always take the pose coming onto your back. So you can come onto your back if you need to, and let the right ankle come right onto the top of the left thigh. And just hold that. That would be equivalent to a pigeon pose, but pigeon's a little deeper. So just let that left leg go back and the toes flatten on the left foot. And then just walk yourself in, lift your chest, and then exhale. Lengthening forward, walk your arms out. Finding your block. If the forehead is not able to come down to the mat, you want to find your forehead resting on the block. So you don't want to have your head hanging, and you don't want to just drop so that the crown of the head is coming towards the floor. It should be your forehead that's on the mat. So if you don't have a block and you feel that you're tucking your chin in, you can stack your hands and just rest your forehead on your hand. So now you're going to start to notice that right hip. This is an intense hip opener. It really kind of gets right into the nitty-gritty, right into that right hip. So maybe you feel the need to kind of shift the weight side to side. Maybe you can't wait until you come out of the pose. But this is a good opportunity for you to just kind of see if you can breathe and be with this. Be with whatever comes up. Just let it go. So make sure that you're using your Ujjayi breath and it's flowing freely. And slowly come back up onto your hands. So if you're on your back, you can switch out, come back into a down dog. So for those in pigeon, curl your back toes, lift your knee, and take your right leg and send it back. So everyone ends up back in the down dog position. And if you feel the need to kind of shift the weight side to side or pedal your feet, whatever feels necessary to stretch, go ahead and do that. And keep dropping the crown of your head to the floor. So I'm going to take it to the other side now. The left leg is going to lift up. And we're taking that left foot, big step to the outside of your mat next to your left pinky finger. And get that left knee to be right over the ankle. So you don't want to have the foot way back here and be like this. So you really want to get that foot as far forward as you can. And always you have the option to go on your back. Let that right knee come back down to the mat. You only have the option to go onto your back when you come into pigeon. So right now, we're going to just start to open up into that inner left thigh. So palms are directly under the shoulders. That right leg is back. The toes are flat on the right foot. Left leg is at a 90-degree angle. Both elbows bend into the sides of the body like you're doing a push-up. Bring your chest down and slowly come up. Inhale. Exhale. Inhale. Exhale. And just take it as far down as you can go. Keep those elbows hugging into the rib cage. Keep your back long. Try not to lower one shoulder further down. You want to keep both shoulders in alignment. And then slowly straighten your arms, and take your left hand now to the pinky side of your left foot. So this is where you would come onto your back if you can't come into your pigeon. So wiggling that left foot behind your right wrist, and allow that left knee to come down to the outside of the mat on the left. And send that right leg back so your pelvis lowers down. Flatten the toes and just walk in, lift your chest, inhale, and then exhale, folding forward. So try not to push all the weight forward into your right hip and kind of hang out with your left hip lifting up, and try not to sink too much into the left hip and keep that right hip up. You want both hips to rotate down. So both hips stay even, as well as both shoulders. Using the block or your hands, whatever you need to go deeper into the pose, and you may notice that one side is more open than the other, or tighter. Just be with that stretch. Same thing here, let everything go. Just use your Ujjayi breath. This is important to really connect to your breath so that you can maintain this deep stretch. So yes, it's intense. So maybe it feels a little uncomfortable. Sometimes we have to be present with that discomfort, just noticing what starts to come up. And then slowly, we're going to bring the hands back under the shoulders. So if you were on your block, remove your block, curl your toes, lifting your heel, lifting your knee, pressing your heel back, and left leg goes back, down dog. So if you were on your back, find your way into your down dog. Make any movements, maybe shifting the hip side to side or pedaling your heel, whatever feels good. And so now that those hips are open, we're going to take it back into that wide down dog pose once again, and notice if it feels a little different this time when we come into the pose. So let's separate the legs just as wide as the width of your mat. So you're in a wide down dog. Keep pressing through your heels. Walk your hands towards the feet. Keep the feet flat and start to squat it down. So you want to bring your tailbone down towards the mat. Let those elbows come to the insides of your thighs and bring your thumbs into prayer. Let the chest lift and breathe. So maybe you just feel it feels the same as it did the first time. Maybe you feel a little bit more open this time around. And so now from here, let's bring both hands down to the floor. You're going to send those hips up, and you're going to keep the hips in alignment with your knees. So turn your toes so that they're facing to the front of the mat, to the very front of your mat. And you want to get down as low as you can, keeping the hips as low as the knees. So if you're way up here, try to squat it down a little bit. Again, we want to breathe through any of that discomfort. Pull those hips back and try to just feel that your belly is pulling in and that you're not holding yourself up with your hands and pushing weight into your palms. And then from here, slowly start to send the hips up as you drop the crown of your head towards the mat. Walk your hands forward, taking it back to our down dog. So once you get there with your hands, bring your feet closer together. Now let's take it forward, going into that knees, chest, chin again. So it's important that we work on understanding that, because that's part of a sun salutation. You want to bring your knees down, hug your elbows in, tilt your tail, let the chest come down, chin comes down. So your belly and hips are not on the floor. Then we're going to slide the chest forward so the belly does go flat, the toes go flat, and the shoulder blades squeeze. Come back onto all fours and lift back up for down dog. And breathe here. Now from here, let's raise our right leg up to the ceiling. Lift it up, and we're going to take that lunge. Always remember you can grab the ankle or wiggle it in. Now from here, taking a warrior two. So your hands are right on either side of your right foot. You want to just flatten your left foot down so that when the left foot comes down, the right heel lines up with the instep of the left foot. The toes are angled slightly to the left long end of the mat. And we're going to windmill the left arm forward, sweep it around, and then let the right arm come up. So you come right into your warrior two. Let your pelvis press down and really open up in through the inner thighs. Ground through the edge of your left foot. So feel that you're really pressing into the mat with that edge of the left foot. Your right knee is directly over your ankle, and your toes are facing towards the short end of your mat, the front of your mat. And breathe here. Now we're going to swivel into a high lunge. So let's take the arms, turn the chest forward. You're going to open the arms, swivel onto the ball of your left foot, squeeze the inner thighs together. So try to find balance here. Bring both arms all the way up. An option to bring the hands together, just as we did earlier when we were in our crescent pose. So in your high lunge, bring your arms up, gaze up, squeeze those inner thighs together, and then open the arms out. And now we're going to take that same twist. So find your balance. Pull the right hip back, pull the left hip forward, scissor those inner thighs together. And then take the right hand towards the left, bring both arms up, inhale, exhale, bring both hands down. So we're going to take it right back into a plank position and go through that knees, chest, chin once again. So your right leg goes back once you're in plank, your shoulders are over your palms, place the knees down, tilt your tail up, chest comes down in between the hands, hug the elbows in, let your tailbone stay lifted. You're only on the palms of your hands. Let your belly slide flat to the floor, chest lifts, toes flat. And then press it back up to your down dog. And hold here. Keep drawing the navel in, drop the head. Make sure that your head is not tense, so you're not tightening through your neck muscles. Your head is just very loose. So if you're not sure, you can kind of just shake it, rock it side to side. So taking the left leg, lift it all the way up, and we're going to take that lunge with the left foot. So however you can get it there, you're going to grab it, wiggle it in, making sure the knee is over the ankle when you start. And then just spin your right foot flat, making sure the heel lines up with the instep of your right foot, and the right toes are angled more to the long edge of the mat, but slightly at a 45-degree angle. So the toes are not pointing to the back of your mat. Right arm stretches forward, start to open your chest, windmill that arm back, and let your left arm come up. Left thigh is parallel to the floor. So when you come up, you bring your shoulders so that they stack right over your hips. Your pelvis presses down, inner thighs open, and rooting down to the edge of your right foot. Shoulders down away from the ears. And continue to breathe. So stay with your Ujjayi breath. Always important to make sure that Ujjayi breath is with you throughout the whole practice. Now we're going to take the swiveling of the right toes. So you're going to come onto the ball of the right foot. So turn your arms out to the side. Adjust your right foot so that the heel lifts and the inner thighs squeeze. And then bring both arms all the way up. So find your balance. Push back through that right heel. Try not to bend the right leg. Really stretch that heel back. Feel that right hip flexor opening, stretching, and hands wherever you're comfortable. And breathe. Squeeze those inner thighs together. And then bring the arms out to the side, taking our twist here. So we're going to bring the right arm forward, left arm behind. Trying to find your balance. Really scissor those inner thighs together and push back through your right heel. Try to get that right leg as straight as possible, pressing that heel back. So sometimes we have that slight bend, but if you really feel that your heel is trying to push to the wall behind you, you'll feel that that leg starts to straighten. Bring your left hand towards the right. Bring both arms up. Inhale. Both hands down. Exhaling the left leg back for your plank. And we're going to take it back into our knees, chest, chin. So your shoulders are over your palms. Knees come down. Toes stay curled. Tailbone tilts. Chest forward and down. Hug the elbows in. Let the chest move forward as the belly flattens, toes flat. Lift your chest by using your back. Press it back up for your down dog. And breathe here. So we're going to continue to open up the hips a little bit more of a deeper hip opener. So let's lower onto the knees. And take your palms so that they're underneath your shoulders. And then we're going to cross the legs at the ankles, sit down onto your buttocks. So now allow the left leg to be in front, and you want to pick up your left leg and place it right on top of your right knee. So pull the right knee more towards the left, so that the right knee, you don't want the right knee to be open further than your hip. You want to kind of pull that knee in so it's in alignment with your hip. And your left foot comes right above that right knee. Let your right heel just wiggle out as much as possible, and make sure that your left buttock and right buttock are flat on the floor. You're going to feel this intense opening in this right hip, and you may even notice that it feels a lot more tense than intense than when you were in your pigeon. So just rest your right hand onto your left heel and your left hand onto your right knee, and then just close your eyes and try to maintain that straight spine and just breathe with it. So we can really feel it. We can really feel those hips outwardly opening and stretching. It may be very intense and feel a little uncomfortable, but you want to breathe with it. So we have to breathe through the intensity of it so that we can maintain more flexibility. And then slowly let your eyes open. So now we're going to take that left foot, and we're just going to allow that left foot to come down, switching it out. So we're going to take the left heel now in towards the right buttock, and you want to try and make sure your left hip is in alignment with your knee. So the knee and the hip are lined up. You don't want that knee to be further away from your hip. So you want to try and get it so that it's right in that same plane. And then the right ankle comes above the knee. And once you're there, you want to wiggle that left foot out a little bit to make sure your right buttock is grounded. Both buttocks are grounded to the floor. So you want to try to do the best you can to keep the knees right in alignment with your hips, so that your knees aren't wider and your feet aren't too close either. So your knees aren't too close. So you want to try and keep that little box of the knees and your hips. Right hand to your knee, left hand to your ankle. Sit up tall, close your eyes, and just let go. So be with the stretch. Yes, it's intense. Just be with it. And sometimes when we just kind of feel that we're just breathing and letting everything go, we start to not bring our attention to what's happening in the hips. We're just focusing more on the breath. And that's why it's important that we have that ujjayi breath, that we can bring the energy in, so that we can manage when these poses are intense. Slowly open your eyes, and you can release that foot. And then just take your feet to the edges of your mat, lean back onto your hands, and windshield wiper your legs from side to side. Just let those hips open and loosen up a little here. And from here, we're going to take boat pose. So we're going to pull the heels in close to the buttocks. Get your big toes to touch. Pull your knees in close to each other. You can take your hands right behind your thighs if you need to. If you don't, you can extend the arms out, and you want to pull the heels in and just raise your feet. You want to get the calves parallel to the mat, keeping the inner thighs together, knees together. And if you're able to stretch your legs up, you can do that. But if it's challenging just to stay here, stay here. If you need to hold, be here. But eventually you want to let your arms come away from behind your legs, so that you can really feel you're utilizing your abdominal muscles. Nice deep inhale, 2 more breaths. Exhale, and 1 more. Inhale. And exhale, let's cross the legs. Place your hands onto your knees. Let's take some circles going around one direction. And then let's take those circles and bring them around the opposite way. And so now for our balance, we're going to be balancing on the sits bones. So we're going to just take the soles of the feet together, taking yogi grip. So you want to take your first two fingers and your thumbs and wrap them around your big toe. So once you get those first two fingers hooked around the toe, just take the thumb and wrap them around. And then you just want to pull your heels into your groin and then start to lift the heels. So balancing on your sits bones, find where that sweet spot is for you. And keep your chest open. So we don't want to be rounded. We don't want to be punching down into the chest. And we don't want to be falling back either. So you want to find where that balance is for you. And it may take a couple of tries, maybe take a couple of practices before you actually are able to find where that is. And you want to just hold here. So now the option is you can start to stretch both legs out. Maybe they stay bent, but you're still finding that balance on your sits bones. Maybe both legs can go a little straighter. And if they do, flex through the heels. Pull the feet in. Keep the chest open and lifted. So again, you want to feel that you're not rounding through your back. Your shoulders are pulling down and your back is nice and long. And then let's bend the legs again and bring the soles of your feet together, placing them down onto the mat and taking it right into Baddha Konasana, bound angle. So we're going to lift up from the hips, inhale, and then exhale, move your chest towards the open soles of your feet. Come down and then round and lower. Draw the forehead down. And just feeling the opening into the inner thigh, into the groin area. Nice deep inhale and exhale. And slowly come back up. And now here, let's take the legs, extend them out to the side. So you want to open into a straddle position, moving the flesh away from your buttocks. Make sure that you're grounding through the sits bones. And only open your legs as far as you can, maintaining a straight spine. So if you keep open your legs and you keep rounding through your back, bring your legs in a little closer until you're able to sit up tall. Or you can sit up on your block, and maybe that will help you open your legs. So we're in this straddle position. Let's take our hands in prayer and raise the arms all the way up. Inhale. Keep your feet flexed. From here, hinge from your hips. Keep the back nice and long. So depending on how open those inner thighs are, this will depend on how low your chest can come to the floor. So just keep lowering. And then once you can't come any further, bring your hands down, but try not to do this. So when your hands come down, don't round the back and drop your chin to the chest. We want to keep that length through the spine, hinging down, and palms come down. Shoulders move back, and keep the flex in the feet, pressing the backs of your knees down to the mat, and the toes are actually facing up to the ceiling. Knees are facing up to the ceiling, but the backs of your knees are pressing down. So you're going to feel that inner thigh, the groin stretch here. And just hold, close your eyes, keep that length through your back, and just open up into that stretch. Notice where you're feeling it. So you don't want to force, you don't want to bounce while you're here. But if you feel that you can go a little further, keeping the long spine, start to lower down. So you want to think of your belly coming down to the mat first, and then the chest coming down next. And then eventually, with practice, you might be able to get your whole chest, and then your forehead can come down. But just take your time, be patient. Taking a few more breaths here. Just feel the intensity of that stretch. Breathe with it. Make sure that you don't go too far and force it, because then you could actually pull a muscle, and you don't want that. And so let's now walk our hands back slowly. And once we come back up, take your hands behind your legs and just let those legs close. Lean back, shake the legs, and then rock them out side to side. So we're going to slowly lower down onto the back. So you're going to scoot your butt towards your heels and just allow yourself to lower onto your back. Let your tailbone press down, so pull your navel into the back of the spine and draw your heels in close to your buttocks. Let your arms relax down alongside you. We're going to take it into a bridge pose. working on the back. So we did already kind of get some stretching through our back by coming down into that knees, chest, and chin, and coming up into that cobra position would stretch the back. So we'll find that now here when we're in our bridge pose, we're going to be opening the back as well. So belly pulls into the back of the spine, the pelvis tilts up, then raise your hips off the floor, lifting your butt. Keep your chin into the chest and just lift up as high as you can go. Bring your arms underneath if you can, squeezing your shoulder blades, and see if you can interlace your fingers. Keep lifting your hips. Toes are facing forward, chin stays into your chest. So never move your head when you're in this position. Keep your chin into the chest and just don't move your head. And keep lifting those hips just as high as you can. You can always remove your arms back to that neutral position if it's a little too intense, keeping your arms underneath. Let's hold it here. 2 more breaths. Go up a little higher if you can. Inhale. Exhale. 1 more. Pull those knees in towards each other. Inhale. And then as you exhale, very slowly, place each vertebra down onto the mat, keeping that tilt in your pelvis so that your sacrum comes down last. And once it does, hug your knees and draw them into the chest. Rock slowly side to side. Gentle massage on your back. We're going to finish up with a twist and then take it right into our relaxation. So once you're rocked out here a little bit, just let your feet come flat down to the mat. Make any adjustments. And let's bring our knees back in towards the chest as the arms extend out in T position. Keep your legs together and ankles together. Draw your navel into the spine. Inhale. And then as you exhale, let your legs float over to the right. Let your left shoulder stay on the mat. See if you can keep the knees together and ankles together as you lower down. They may start to separate, but do the best you can. If you need to, you could always bring the block to the underneath the right knee, or so that the right knee can rest on top of the block if you can't get it there. And then this way, maybe the left leg can stay connected to the right. So whatever level, if you can, just let your legs lower. But the left shoulder stays down, and then turn your gaze to look to the left and close your eyes. And breathe into the whole left side of your body. Try to relax your left shoulder. And breathe. Noticing the space, the openness through the rib cage. And then return your head center. Let your left leg just come up, and once it comes up, you're going to draw the right leg to meet it. And then bring your feet down. So center yourself back to the mat, the middle of your mat. And then hug your knees in again. Arms out in T position. You can take your block and bring it over to the other side if you need it. And you're going to keep your legs kind of like in a tabletop position. Draw your navel into the back of the spine. Inhale. And then exhale. Keep the knees glued together, the ankles glued together as you let both legs lower over to the side. Relax your right shoulder. And then take your gaze over, looking to the right fingers, and then just close your eyes. And as you breathe, let your exhale soften your body. Just let go, relax into this nice deep twist. And opening your eyes, slowly bring your head center, right leg lifts, take it up, and once you get that right buttock to almost touch, draw the left leg up. And then bring both feet down to the mat and adjust yourself back into the middle of your mat. One last hug, pull the knees into your chest and rock gently from side to side. So let's place both feet down to the floor and slide your legs straight out. So we're coming into our relaxation now, into our Shavasana posture. Let the arms open out away from the sides of your body so they're not just way close in. Your hands should not be down by your legs, your buttocks. You want to just open them a little wider. Draw your shoulder blades together and let your chest expand and open, and then gently close your eyes and do whatever adjustments that you need to be comfortable as you start to relax now. So relaxation is important after our practice so that we're able to integrate the work that we've done. So take your time to really feel very comfortable. Try to let your whole body just let go. Let your whole body sink deeper and deeper into the earth. And today, while we're in our relaxation, I'm just going to ask you to just we're going to bring in a little bit of what is called a metta meditation, a metta focus, which means just kind of invoking kindness. So what you'll be repeating to yourself, you'll say these 3 affirmations to yourself. May I be happy. May I be peaceful. May I be free from suffering. May I be happy. May I be peaceful. May I be free from suffering. May I be happy. May I be peaceful. May I be free from suffering. And just rest, bringing those affirmations in, and bringing this loving kindness to yourself. And when you don't feel the need to repeat the affirmations any longer, let them go. And finding yourself going deeper. May I be happy. May I be peaceful. May I be free from suffering. without moving. And just repeat those affirmations once again. May I be happy. May I be peaceful. May I be free from suffering. Slowly, gently begin to wiggle your fingers and your toes, finding your way back into your physical body, moving a little bit more through the wrists, the ankles. And then take a nice deep inhale as you stretch your arms all the way over your head, stretching all the way back. Exhale out any sigh, sounds, or moans, getting a beautiful deep stretch. And then gently hug and pull your knees into your chest and rock it out from side to side. Just massage out your back. When you feel ready, roll over to the right side of your mat, allowing the left hand to come onto the floor in front of your chest, and let your head rest on your inner right arm so that you rest comfortably in Garbhasana pose, fetal position here. Be with your stillness. Be with your peace. Take this opportunity to notice how you're feeling. Notice what your practice has given to you today. And even though you may be struggling through some of the postures, be patient with yourself. Practice, and then eventually more strength and flexibility will happen. But you have to be persistent. You have to be able to come to your mat and practice as often as you can. Not something that you come to sporadically, because we start to notice the subtle difference the more and more we practice. If we just do it once in a while, we're not really going to notice the changes, because the changes are happening in a subtle way, very deep down. And we can start to notice them when we really continue to keep consecutive or consistent practice. So as you sit up nice and tall, let's bring our hands into prayer position. So sorry, I didn't invite you to come back up. So slowly come back up from your fetal position. Slowly taking your time. And once you sit up nice and tall, just ground down through your sits bones and bring your hands in prayer. And let your thumbs just come to the center of your heart. And perhaps allow yourself to repeat once again. May I be happy. May I be peaceful. May I be free from suffering. And we'll feel in our practice, feel in those beautiful affirmations for ourselves, for our well-being. And we'll chant Om 3 times. Take a deep breath in. And slowly lower your chin down to your chest as you bow to the light and love that shines within you. Know that that light and love shines brightly within each and every one of us. Namaste. Thank you very much, everyone. Enjoy your evening, and I'll see you again soon.